And lastly, from our abbreviated list of DREDF goals, maximizing access to the ever-evolving digital world. And that last item brings me very much to our next two guests from Google with whom we've been collaborating. Their complete bios are an insert into your program, but in brief, Adrienne Biddings, Google Policy Counsel in Washington, D.C., represents Google before Congress as well as the Federal Communications Commission and other federal agencies. And Bridgette Hoyer Gosselink, Principal for Google.org, manages its issue-focused Google Impact Challenge, which supports transformative, tech-based ideas to address pressing global problems. This year, the challenge is about expanding opportunity and independence for people with disabilities. Cool. So please welcome Adrienne Biddings, Google Policy Counsel, and Bridgette Hoyer Gosselink, Principal for Google.org.
I'm Adrienne Biddings, Policy Counsel from Google, based in Washington, D.C. And first off, on behalf of Google, I want to thank you all for allowing us to come speak at this great event. Many of you are probably wondering, why is Google here? Why do we care? Well, the Disability Rights Education Defense Fund and Google, we actually share an important mutual goal, which is improved accessibility and usability for all individuals. That goal is built into Google's DNA. Yes. So when Larry and Sergey actually started the company 17 years ago, which you can actually still find on our website to this day, it said their mission was to make the world's information universally accessible and usable and useful. So broadly speaking, accessibility is about making sure a place, product, and service can be used by as many people as possible. And our hope is that in some small ways, all of our technology, whether it be search, be maps, Android, can make your life a little bit easier. It can help uplift individuals. It can be empowering. It can let you know what you need at that minute. But accessibility doesn't really end there, and it shouldn't. It's also about making sure that everyone, regardless of their limitations, has access. It's about inclusion, and that's our goal. It's about inclusion for everyone. So we've developed a slogan, which we kind of tout out there, is that one Google for all. That no matter who you are, where you live, and what you do, you should be able to use our products. You should be able to have access to technology. That should be something that should just be a given for you. And so every day we are trying to work to make sure our products fit that mantra. So we say if we look at that mission and then focus on every user, everything else will follow. So in that same vein, we developed a team within Google. They're known as the Core Accessibility Team, but they do more than that. Their job is pretty much to make sure now that every single product, before it goes out the door, is usable and has a great experience for every single user. And not only do they do that just with our products, but their goal has been to educate others, other engineers and other people out there in the space. So they develop guidelines and processes. They teach all of the new engineers that come into Google, which we call new Googlers. We teach them about accessibility access and how to write code and create products for people who have disabilities. Because that's something that's actually not taught in computer science school. Most engineers do not know that when they leave school, they graduate and get their CS degree. So we're teaching them on week one how to make an inclusive product for every single individual. And that team has done great work, but we know there's still more to be done. The sky is the limit as far as what we can do with technology. And we know, and you all know, that technology can completely change and transform the quality of life for every individual out there. And we are actively working on moonshots. That's what we call them inside of Google, our big 10X projects that are just kind of outside of anyone's thinking. We call, when we had driverless car, that was a moonshot. Our smart contact lens, that was a moonshot. Google Glass, those are moonshots. And we're working on moonshots currently right now in the accessibility space. Ways that would really transform people's lives. And we welcome the opportunity to really engage with you and work with all of you on solutions that really have the possibility to turn the corner and help provide everyone with access to information all around the world. because we know that technologists have really just scratched the surface on what they can do, and now we've decided to really double down on those efforts. And so here's a little bit of an example of some of the things that we're doing and what Bridgette's going to talk about. So roll the video.
If I did this one-handed, the cream cheese would probably be in Shelley's face or on the window or something.
Technology has transformed the lives of individuals like myself.
People with disabilities can work and can be a part of their community.
Don't limit yourself just because you have a disability.
We have the right to do everything and anything that we want.
Piedmont Avenue.
Today was a really wonderful day. Period.
Some resolution. All right, well, thanks so much. Again, I'll just echo Adrienne's thanks for having us here today. So I'm Bridgette Gosselink. I'm here today representing Google.org, which is Google's philanthropic arm. We give away about $80 million every year in strategic giving to social causes. And as Marilyn mentioned, this year, I have the privilege of leading our Google Impact Challenge Disabilities, which is a new experiment for us to focus on a particular topic and to think about how we can, with all of our philanthropic efforts, as well as efforts across the company, really try to do more on one topic for a short amount of time. So our giving at Google.org is really focused on bringing Google's values to our philanthropy. Adrienne mentioned moonshots. We think about some of the same thing. How can we really drive more innovation? How can we bring more technology to bear in the way that we're addressing some important social issues around the world? And when we were thinking about a topic to pick for our very first time, really focusing on one particular effort, we felt like focusing our energies around this issue of really finding more ways to create opportunity for people with disabilities was a great fit for two main reasons. The first is that, as Adrienne mentioned, technology really has a lot of opportunity still in this space. And we know that we don't hold the only card on innovation here at Google. We also know that there are many other innovators out there at nonprofits and other businesses, even individuals who are just making and tinkering in their own homes, really finding new ways to address some of the challenges that we still all collectively need to address together. And we've funded some great projects so far, and we've committed to funding $20 million worth of projects in this cause for this year. I'll just focus on a couple quick grants, because I think they help to illustrate what we talk about in our grant making. We really focus on ideas that hopefully have the impact beyond even just the near term. So we're looking at things like 3D printing of prosthetics in an open source environment, trying to aggregate some of the many prolific apps and technology devices that are out there and helping organizations to build a recommendation engine, something that we know a lot about at Google, to recommend products and technology aids that can help people based on the real outcomes that people are seeing. And we hope to have many more projects that we'll be able to announce at the end of this year after our open call for ideas ends at the end of this month. I wanted to talk about just one other part of this challenge that I think is particularly relevant as we are here today at your celebration of the ADA. And that is that we also, as part of this work, want to bring Google's voice and our reach with the public to this topic and to this cause. Earlier this year, on the actual anniversary of the ADA in late July, we partnered with an artist and installed portraits of civil rights leaders in the disability rights movement around Washington, D.C. And part of this effort was to elevate these stories. Interesting enough, so I live just about a mile from here and consider myself to be relatively well educated in social causes. I've worked in social impact most of my career. And often, as this campus was being built, I saw it and walked by and one day thought, I don't actually know who Ed Roberts is. And so, of course, I Googled him. And I learned the incredible story of this man who had started this movement here in Berkeley in my own backyard that I had never heard of before. And I thought, how could I have not learned this as part of what I learned as civil rights as an American? And so of course we know we won't change that overnight. That's work that you all have been doing for so long and will continue to do. But as Google, we do have this incredible platform with billions of users. And we want to take some of that platform this year to tell those stories, not just here in the US, but also all of the disability rights advocates that are working hard across the globe still on many issues today that we've, through the ADA fought and won here in America. So we're actually taking the work that we did. You'll see a couple of the portraits here around the space. Zoom was kind enough to let us bring a couple of them, aggregating that, and then also aggregating similar stories from around different countries. So working with folks in the UK and folks in sub-Saharan Africa, people who are working in India on these issues today. We're actually going to create an exhibit on what's called Google Cultural Institute, which is essentially like an online museum of disability rights advocates from around the world. And that's just one piece of this challenge. So I think that what I'd like to just leave you all with is we're working on this topic. We're working on it for the next year or so, and we'd love to have your partnership with us. I think that you all are a good reminder of how much work we all still have to do on this topic and how much partnership might be possible. So again, thank you so much for having us, and continue in your amazing work that you're all leading every day. Thanks.